Hey 4-H members, I know it's wintertime outside and we can't get out a lot, but spring is just around the corner and it's a perfect time to start working on some of your gear that you want to use for spring fishing. So today we're going to talk a little bit about just getting your equipment ready for spring. My name is Kevin Allen. I work with the 4-H program and I'm in the Department of Natural Resource Ecology and Management. And spring, again, is one of my favorite seasons. It's just lots of things to do outside. So we're going to talk about getting ready for spring fishing season. So everyone has different types of rods and reels. Making sure that you take care of your equipment is very, very important. You don't want to be catching that big lunker and have the line break because of something that you failed to do and keeping your equipment maintained. So again, this is what we're going to talk a little bit about today. So whether you're using a spin casting reel, or a bait casting reel, your fly reel, or even I call it a open face, a spinning reel, one of my favorites. You have to keep these equipment maintained. This is one of my favorite reels. I've had this for quite a long time, and you can see it's in pretty good shape. I think I've had it for probably about 15 or 20 years, but it's because you take care of your equipment that it gets to last that long. So, it's pretty simple to take care of this open face. The first thing I want to do is remove this part here. And this is your drag. And every reel is going to be a little bit different, so you'll have to make sure that you're familiar with your reel. And then you remove the spool. You'll see this spindle in here. It's pretty clean. Again, it's been kept up, but you'll notice that spindle goes up and down as I reel. So you want to make sure that you get it all the way up to right about there. So you can get in there and just put some fine oil in there. So I just bought some reel oil. You don't need a whole lot. You just need to make sure that you're keeping your equipment lubricated and oiled up. Remember that oil is for lubrication. Your grease is for gears. So again, you're just gonna wipe it in there a little bit, get that cleaned up, and you can see the dirt coming off on here. So while I said I'd taken good care of it, it still gets dirty with use and wear and tear. So now that I've done that, I want to get into the bail here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of oil, and it'll work its way down in there, just to keep those parts moving freely. So you can move that bail around a little bit and get down in there around those crevices and openings. And around any of the moving parts. So I can close that bail again, and you can just feel the difference if you've been keeping it clean, how that will perform for you. The next thing you want to do is remove the handle, and most open face reels are left-handed or right-handed. It's interchangeable. This is the way I like to use it. And again, it's pretty clean in there, but I do have a little bit of dirt, so I want to clean that off. Get all that old oil or grease out of there. And you'll see down in this area on either side, there's bearings in there. So again, you just want to put a little bit of oil. You don't have to put a whole lot. And on both sides. Again, it doesn't take you don't have to squirt a whole bunch in there. Put your handle back. Screw it back in there good and tight. Again, every reel is going to be different, so you have to be familiar with your equipment and what you need to do to maintain it. You could break this farther on down and take these screws out and get down to the gears, but I don't normally do that. I'll do it every couple years, but I'm not going to do it right now. I'll put the spool back on. Make sure you get the don't want this to get cross-threaded and you want it to go back on the right way. Another thing a lot of people fail to do when they're redoing their gear or getting ready for the spring is they leave the old line on. The monofilament line doesn't last forever, and again, it'll get brittle and break. So I've already removed the line, but we can do another video talking about how to appropriately put the line back on. But you'll see it works nice and smooth now. Not going to hopefully have no problems with it. It's going to crank over for me just fine. And again, you can just work that bail back and forth to make sure that oil is getting in there. So that's basic maintenance on an open face reel. The other thing you want to make sure that you're taking care of is your rod. And I've got two different types of rods here. I have a 1-piece and a 2-piece. So you want to make sure that you clean your rod. Go over it. You want to pay special attention to the eyes. The eye lines, the guidelines here, to make sure that these have not frayed or are broken. And again, that the guides are in good shape. Nothing worse than having one of these break when you're fishing, and it happens. It happens to all of us, but you want to make sure that it doesn't happen because you failed to maintain your equipment. The other type of rod that I have here is a 2-piece. So this has what's called a ferrule in it, and you can see that it's gotten pretty dirty in there. If you've ever been fishing, sometimes these come apart on you while the rod's out. So again, you just want to clean that up real good and make sure that it's seating in there tight. You don't want it so tight that it doesn't come out, but so you can see it doesn't take very long to keep your equipment maintained and getting ready for spring. I have another one here just to show you different styles. So you saw this one where I had to unscrew the drag to get the spool line off. This one has a drag in the back, and you can see this has not been well maintained, not as well as I would like. But it has a button that you push and the spool comes off, and then you can get cleaner. Just to spray on there, let it soak, and that way any of the grease or the oil or grime will come out. And you'll do the same thing. You'll oil up here on the bail. I can take this handle off, get those bearings oiled up again, and this will be ready for me to go again in the spring. So I hope you had a great time learning about how to maintain your fishing equipment. We'll be doing some other fishing videos here, talking about your gear and how to practice at home on your casting and some different skills that you can use on there. So be looking forward to us, and I hope you have a great time at your pond or your river or your lake, wherever you go fishing.